Your translator is lying, the black waitress warned the millionaire before signing the contract. The first time Daniel Harper heard the words, he thought he had misunderstood. He was halfway through signing a multi-million-dollar contract in a glossy downtown restaurant, the kind where chandeliers sparkled like frozen fireworks and every plate looked like art. His translator, Victor, sat beside him, calmly explaining the final clauses in smooth English while the foreign investors across the table nodded politely. Then a quiet voice slipped in from his left. "Sir, your translator is lying to you." Daniel looked up. The speaker was a waitress refilling his water. Her name tag read Naomi. Her expression was steady but nervous, like someone stepping onto thin ice. Victor laughed. "She must be joking. She doesn't understand our language." Naomi's grip on the pitcher tightened. In a low voice, she said, "I do. My mother is from the same country as your partners. I grew up speaking it. And that clause he just summarized. It gives them rights to your company if any delay happens." The investors shifted in their seats. Daniel felt a slow chill crawl up his spine. He had built his logistics company from one truck to a nationwide operation. This deal was supposed to take him global. He turned to Victor. "Translate that last clause word for word," Daniel said calmly. Victor's smile thinned. He repeated a softer version. Naomi gently shook her head. "That's not what it says," she insisted. "It says ownership transfer upon operational disruption. Even a small strike or supply issue could count." One of the investors interrupted sharply in their language. Naomi answered him fluently. The table fell silent. Daniel closed his pen. "I think we'll pause signing." The meeting ended minutes later, the investors suddenly in a hurry, Victor unusually quiet. Daniel's lawyers later confirmed it. Naomi had been right. The clause could have cost him everything. But what stayed with Daniel wasn't the near disaster. It was Naomi. She hadn't known who he was. She hadn't gained anything by speaking up. In fact, she had risked her job. Many people would have stayed silent. The next evening, Daniel returned to the restaurant and asked for her. Naomi looked alarmed when she saw him. "I'm sorry if I overstepped yesterday. I just felt it wasn't right." "You may have saved my company," Daniel said. "Why did you help me?" She hesitated, then smiled faintly. "My father lost his small business because he trusted the wrong people and didn't understand the paperwork. I was a kid, but I remember how it changed our lives. I guess I didn't want to watch it happen to someone else." Her honesty struck him harder than any business pitch ever had. Over the next weeks, Daniel learned more. Naomi worked 2 jobs. She had dropped out of college to support her mother. Her dream was to become a language teacher. She loved words, cultures, and helping people understand each other. One afternoon, Daniel invited her to his office. "I have a proposal," he said. "A scholarship fund. Full tuition, living expenses, flexible schedule. No contracts tying you to me. Just support. You earned it the moment you chose honesty over comfort." Naomi's eyes filled with tears. "Why would you do that for me?" Daniel thought for a moment. "Because you reminded me what success is supposed to be for." Years passed. Daniel's company expanded internationally, but with better lawyers and his own language consultants. Yet his proudest investment wasn't on any balance sheet. It was the letter he received 3 years later. "Dear Mr. Harper, today I signed my contract as a certified interpreter at the United Nations Language Program. I help people understand each other for a living now. Every time I do, I remember that one moment of courage can echo far beyond what we see. Thank you for believing in me. Naomi." Daniel framed the letter. Sometimes, during interviews, people asked him about the secret to his success. They expected talk of strategy, timing, or risk. He would simply say, "Listen to people. Especially the ones who have nothing to gain by speaking." Because the truth was, his greatest turning point hadn't come from a boardroom. It had come from a waitress with the courage to tell the truth. And somewhere in a busy conference hall across the world, Naomi now did the same for others, bridging languages, preventing misunderstandings, quietly protecting strangers from costly mistakes. All because kindness once traveled in both directions. The lesson Daniel carried forward was simple. Money can build businesses, intelligence can grow them, but integrity, and the courage to act on it, can change lives. And sometimes, the smallest voice at the table is the one worth hearing the most.